Hi there and welcome to Lorena's Labyrinth. My name's Anna Pirelli. The comments that you see here are my views, beliefs, opinions, and sometimes they are not even my fully formed views, beliefs, and opinions. However, they are my understandings. Please do retain an open mind and reflect on any of the content and your comfort levels. If your views differ, please feel free to leave a comment. Also remember, it is possible to disagree in respectful ways. My way is not necessarily your way and vice versa. You might also find that some of the content on this playlist in regard to spiritual or universal laws, it resonates with you, meaning it feels right to you, while other laws may not feel right or they may not feel comfortable. If this is the case, the information is either not right for you or it is not right for you right now, and it might never be right for you at any given time. It really doesn't matter. As an earthy and practical person, I can put my hand up with all honesty and say that I have at different times had the same feelings about some of the content in here. And with some of them, I still have a level of skepticism within my viewpoints, but I choose to retain an open mind about the things that I don't fully understand for a few reasons. Firstly, because I believe it would be supreme arrogance to think that we all know all of the answers while we have a body. And because what is right for one of us is not necessarily right or suitable for all of us, and I choose to respect the differences. Please do leave your opinions, beliefs. Feel free to argue the points in a respectful way with any of the content on the slides and even my interpretations. And if you feel that you can add clarity around some of the content, we would all love to see it. Thank you. For now, though, let's explore the laws.
All creation is governed by law. The principles that operate in the outer universe, discoverable by scientists, are called natural laws. But there are subtler laws that rule the hidden spiritual planes and the inner realm of consciousness. Contained within these laws, or conditions, is the true nature of matter. Knowledge of these laws has an effect upon the mental urges. Mind is the builder. Stay in full mindfulness of the application of universal law as related to self and to others, and know that in love all life is given, in love all things move. In giving one attains, in giving one acquires. In giving, love becomes the fulfillment of desire, guided and directed in the ways that bring the more perfect knowledge of self as related to the universal, all-powerful, all-guiding, all-divine influence in life. Love is life. When we go back, merge with the God source, in some infinitesimal but profound way, we expand the mind of God. Our higher self always points the best and most perfect way, and it is ours to listen and choose or reject what we hear. It does not blame, but patiently tries again to show the perfect way, the loving way. All of creation pushes forth. We are ever becoming. Identity ever remains. Universal law number 18. The law of discipline. The law of discipline states by practicing discipline, one expands the entity to a greater degree than almost any other action. Discipline is the surest means to greater freedom and independence. It provides the focus to achieve the skill level and depth of knowledge that translates into more options in life. Commitment involves discipline over a specific period of time. Discipline and commitment provide the bridge between here and our goals.
Hi there. So today we're looking at the law of discipline, and of course, as usual, I'll give you my understandings and hopefully my interpretations hold some meaning to you. The answers that I provide are by no means the perfect answers. You may hold a different view, you may have different opinions, and if you do, I would love for you to share them because this is all about expanding our own beliefs individually and collectively. So my interpretation of the law is that through the use of self-discipline and being diligent to ensure that we continue to at least strive for personal excellence in two ways. One is as a human being walking on the earth plane, we will actually inevitably expand our spiritual being, for want of a better description. And whether we're consciously aware of it or not, any of the goals that we have are often quite driven by our life purpose. Sometimes we're walking the path and we don't even realise it until we actually get to a certain state within our physical life. But either way, the life path is one, whether we're actively aware of it or not, that is underpinned by this desire for freedom and independence. So I think it's really important here to understand that we're all here as individuals, we're all one, but we are also one of the whole. We are one and many all at the same time, because there is the collective consciousness, and then there's our own individual consciousness. And I think we'll probably be discussing that in a different law to get an understanding of the spiritual concepts. But it comes back to basically it's more than just you. You know, these people that in the past I've known people that would draw a little circle around them and say, the world revolves around me. Well, guess what? The world doesn't revolve around you, because you're interacting with other people in the universe as well. And anyway, whatever, let's move on to what the word freedom actually means, because of course, as usual, we see variations in words and language, even within the same language, in the English language. So when it comes to the actual description of freedom, or how we define it, this might be something that you want to meditate on, because what exactly does freedom mean to you? In the dictionary, or the Merriam-Webster dictionary, she describes freedom as the quality or state of being free, such as the absence of necessity. You know, we never need anything, we don't need anything because we've got it all. We're not coerced into doing anything, nobody makes us do anything, and there's no constraints or restrictions put upon us to stop us from acting upon our choices or decisions. And she also describes it as a liberation from slavery or from the power of another. So I'm not quite sure what this means, but boldness of conception or execution. This means having an idea and actually being able to do it. So there's that freedom and power of choice. Other definitions include the ability to self-regulate and self-determine, and the human capacity, the ability we're talking about here. It's one thing to have an idea or know something, but capacity is about, can we actually physically do it? What's blocking us from acting upon what we know or feel to be the right thing to do? And so the freedom is defined as being able to act without any external compulsion or restraint. So nobody forces us to do something, and nobody stops us from doing something. So this is what freedom is defined as. I see, or my personal interpretation of freedom is that it's a combination of all of the things above. There's physical freedom, where we're not behind a barbed wire fence or imprisoned like this person. We're not held in slavery. We've got choices, the ability to choose our employment, for example, or to choose our employers, and we have the ability and choice around where we live and how we live and who we associate with. I also see freedom as about freedom of expression, to hold our own beliefs, our faith and our views, and even opinions, and to be able to speak our truth with respect, of course, to other people's views and personal truths. And that means that we've got freedom to disagree. And of course, as a social worker, this is really important to me. There's a wonderful saying by Voltaire that you've probably seen around somewhere. I may not agree with your opinion, but I will fight to the death for you to be able to have it or hold it. It's something like this, right? And the reason why I like that sentence is because it demonstrates that even if we don't agree, we respect the right of other people to have their opinions and to be different to us, because it's through differences that we all grow. Freedom from coercion and guilt. Well, I think we've all been guilted for having an opinion that sits outside of current populist or social stereotypes of what's normal and what isn't. So before we outline and define independence, let's actually just pay attention to this image here, because I do have incredible fun doing the art generators, the what is it, artificial intelligence or whatever. But every now and again, they send out something really quite cockeyed, like this particular image here. Beautiful until you actually look at her eyes and you wonder what's going on there. But anyway, how do we define independence? Well, once again, it's a loaded term, but I believe the primary meaning is that the ability or the power to make decisions for yourself or myself is a form of independence. It's where we don't need to ask permission from other people about what course of actions we should take, and equally we're not required to justify to other people why we said what we did or did what we did. We don't need other people to support us financially, emotionally, psychologically, or whatever, because we're fully able and capable to meet our own needs. Now, that doesn't mean to say that we're a solo participant in life either, by the way, but I'll explain on that in a moment. Actually, no, I think I'll just go into it now. Okay, to explain that, we tend to go through life if we're dependent on others. If we don't have financial freedom, for example, we can find ourselves locked into situations based on the approval of other people. And I used to have a saying, I think actually to some extent it resonates with me still, which is, if you're not paying my bills or all the rest of it, then really you don't get to have a say in how I live my life and what I do and what I say and what I should do. You know what I mean? But that actually ties in. I'll do a video at some point on time on the 4 Agreements by Paulo Coelho. You can go and look that one up if you like anyway. He's got some excellent wisdom out there. Okay, so going back to independence, often people, you, me, we will trade our independence to ensure support from people, and these can be the people that we love. It might be the conditions that applied, if you keep doing that, then I'm going to do this and that, right? So we can often compromise our integrity and lead ourselves down a pathway of extreme external conflict. And that's because we've created a situation for ourselves where our happiness is dependent on other people. So you hear the word dependent as opposed to independent. So a prime example that's very commonplace these days can be these people who are incredibly idealistic with a great humanitarian consciousness that really want to do something good for other people. So they might end up working as service workers in human service organisations, perhaps in aged care or disability services. And I'm pretty sure this is throughout the world. We certainly have it here in Western Australia. Now, these people take on the jobs with a rose-tinted lens, thinking that the jobs are going to allow them to achieve their ideals or goals of enhancing the quality of life for other people. Okay, and they obviously need money to survive, because everybody does. So they start working the jobs, and then they find out that in the due course of earning that wage that they're dependent on, that there are so many limitations put on their work, how they interact with the client, and it's very restrictive. And they generally, I'm speaking generally here, quite often it becomes a case of the roles include more tick box exercises and actually about enhancing the life experience for their client base. And so they start to feel compromised because they realise that the organisations are more concerned about continued government funding than they are actually about caring for the individuals. So what we see is that the person is basically chained and locked into an unrewarding and unfulfilling job until they can get another one, because they are dependent on that income. So independence would be being able to, within this context, being able to generate a wage to cover their cost of living in a way that helps them feel like they're making a difference, feel like they're adhering to their life path. What else can I put here? So another meaning of independence, I think, just looking at my notes here, is freedom from the control, influence, support, aid, or the like of others, and the ability to live your life without being helped or influenced by other people. So going back to, we're not a soul journey, or you know what I mean? What is that saying? There's a saying, feel free to pick me up on my own English. It's a first language, but apparently I struggle over it from time to time. It's that no man is an island, right? Because we're all here interacting with each other. But I think the thing is that if people are independent within even their intimate partnered relationships, they're that's going to enhance the relationship, is because you come back to that state. I'm not with you because I have to be with you. I'm not with you because I don't have any choice. I'm not with you because I'm dependent on you financially or whatever. I'm with you because I choose to be with you. I'm with you because I love you. So this is the difference, I guess, in relationships about independence and dependence. And that's some food for thought and some consideration. So the next part of the law, if you flick back a couple of slides, refers to commitment as a primary ingredient of discipline um, towards the ends of achieving freedom and independence. So to explain this, I believe it's fairly simple to see, but I might have been looking at this particular problem for a lot longer, and that's why it seems simple to me. But what I believe we're referring to here is that obviously, first of all, independence is about freedom of choice at the very least. And then to understand discipline, we also need to take a look at what does commitment mean. So once again, we see a whole heap of descriptions here about word meanings. And my preference, again, in this instance, is actually Merriam-Webster, where she states that, because there's so many definitions out there, that a commitment is a pledge to do something in the future. Now, the variation that I would have is I'm not sure that a commitment needs to be based in the future. I believe that we can, each one of us, make a commitment right here, right now, today, and that it doesn't have to be tomorrow. So we can make commitments, for example, today to go, I'm going to make a commitment to my own health and well-being. I'm going to live a healthy life. I'm going to ensure that my body receives everything that it needs for good function. That could be diet and exercise or whatever. We're making a pledge. We're committing to something just in that statement. And that's a promise to ourselves, okay? We can make commitments to other people, but the first commitment is to ourselves for that self-care, taking care of our base needs. So this is where I see commitment being the first part, because a commitment is purely words. Without the associated actions and the doing part of the pledge, it just remains a whole heap of words, a whole heap of talk, right? The discipline aspect is putting our commitments into action. It's about being diligent. It's about um, being mindful. So for example, I know that I need to eat healthy. I'm not doing this today. It might be a New Year's pledge, just putting it out there. I know that I need to be more healthy. I know that I need to visit my diet and perhaps eat more fruit and salad type products. Increase the leafy greens at least. I'm not a kale fan. But, I could turn around and make a pledge today. I could do it for New Year's or whatever and just say, right, I'm going to make this adjustment. I'm going to make these changes because I'm committed to my own health. If I do not put in the planning and preparation and be disciplined about that, that commitment's not worth the energy that I just made in making the sentence, because it's going to require me planning my budget, doing the shopping, planning out recipes if need be. I'm not really into the smoothies, whatever, things like this. Is what I talk about, the discipline. So once the commitment's made, you've got to actually catch yourself in the thought and maintain the energy and vibration around that pledge, if you like, that commitment. Um, and to be quite honest, when I was looking at this in the planning stage for this video, it reminded me of a therapy I learned at university when I was doing my Masters of Counselling. And just putting it out there in case people don't know, no, I didn't complete that. I did all the theory, but I didn't do my placement. So I don't have that as a qualification, but I do recall the therapy, and I'm going to talk about it now. So the therapy that I'm referring to is called ACT in abbreviation, or it's acceptance commitment therapy. Now, in essence, it's a treatment for people who've experienced quite extreme psychological distress. And in many ways, it embraces, well, in fact, in all ways, it embraces the concepts of neuropathy and trauma. However, to be real, not everybody is ready to approach this, because the acceptance part is about acknowledging that something is, and you can't see my little inverted finger, comma, air gestures. It's about accepting that there is something wrong internally with the person. Now, for people that have been traumatized, they will get this. Okay, many people may not. Hopefully, they will. If a person has been subjected to some really horrible stuff, because that's what trauma is. It's not what they've actually done. Something has been done to them that has left them quite scarred. So a person with trauma will quite often turn around and say, "There's nothing wrong with me. It's the environment in which I find myself," which is true. None of it's not true. Or it was the actions of others that was wrong, and I'm just paying the price. Things like that. All of that is true, but the truth also embraces the fact that if this person is experiencing, say, flashbacks or symptoms of PTSD and all the rest of it, what's going on there is that original trauma, which was created from the environment and external parties, has impacted upon the internal. And that can be as simple as um, neurological function. So, if you looked at the videos, because I have put them up on the physiology of distress, you will have a better understanding of what I'm talking about here. So, there is a recognition that, okay, bad things were done to me, but it's had an impact on my physiological being. I can repair this and I'm prepared to work to it. So, this is where acceptance commitment therapy can add value. It's like, okay, yep, all right, it's not my internal, right? There's the acceptance. I've got an inner dysfunction, right, based on my physiology, not because there's something wrong with my, well, you know, actually, I'm not even going to go down that path. I'm just trying to make a point. So then there is the commitment. I am going to change and I'm going to do something about this. Okay. The commitment part, where it becomes discipline in regard to this therapy, is that generally speaking, within this therapy, there's activities to do. And it could be exploring or whatever. I'm not even going to try and make examples of it, but there generally will be exercises and activity involved with it. Even if we turn around and said it's brain exercises, it could be affirmations, actually, which is tends to be more rooted in the spiritual side of things. But affirmations, actually, they are a form of self-discipline if they are done regularly. The thing is, though, I would be very mindful too that we're using the right affirmations. And by that, I mean the healthy ones, because there's a lot out there that I question whether or not they build delusion for people. So, anyway, there's the commitment. I will do the activities, and the therapy is the outcome, which is the wellness. So, anyway, I think I've explained that. Um, Discipline takes us to a pathway of greater joy, if you like. But we need to be disciplined and committed to our own health and well-being. And when we take that a step further, it is about understanding and accepting also that we are part of a greater society. And so we try and ensure that the interactions with other people, you know what I mean? That's all for one, one for all is probably the best way of explaining it. Actually, just to summarize and recap, I would say in a more concise way that the law of discipline reminds us that with diligence and commitment, we can enhance the quality of our life and our ability to hold and live with joy and love, right? We can feel more empowered and at greater liberty to take actions to enhance not just our life, but the lives of those people around us. Anyway, of course, I'm always interested to hear other people's thoughts and interpretations. In the meantime, I'm going to say thank you for part of being my journey once again today. And I wish you well. Have a glorious, wonderful day. Bless. Bye bye for now.